Ooby-Doo is everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. Today we're going to look at the Canon Lens FD 35mm f2. Oh, made in Japan, cool. It's old school, all metal, high quality. Look at that. This is the FD mount, the old style FD mount. What does it focus down to? It focuses down to 1 foot or 0.3 meters. How about that? It has a convex front element instead of like having a normal, it has a concave front element instead of having a normal convex element. What's this thing's claim to fame? It's freaking radioactive. Let's check it out. Holy shit, this thing is hot. It's mofo hot. It's so hot, it's starting to give me a warning beep. Let's see, how hot will it get? 188, 213, these are clicks per minute, which is scary as all crap. 300 clicks per minute. Oh, it's getting 400. Yeah, 400. Can we do 500? Yeah, it looks like we're going to hit 500. I think we're going to hit 600. Well, you get the idea. It's freaking radioactive. That's going to take a little bit of time to clear. I bought that when that atomic power plant in Japan blew up. And you know what? That's where they make Canon cameras and glass. Right next to that, just down the street from the atomic reactor that blew up. So this is a dumb lens. So you got to put it on a dumb adapter. Oh my God. I could see why they got rid of this breech mount thing. You got to line that up with the notch. Once you get it exact, let's do that again. Usually I don't have this much trouble. That must be because it knows it's going to be on YouTube, or BitChute, or Rumble. Are these things lined up right? Yeah, they're lined up right. No, I didn't get the notch right. Oh, this thing moved. There you go. That's the problem. Now, there we go. No, that's not right either. Damn. Oh, what a dope. You see, you gotta put it on install first. Oh. See how easy it is when you do it right? Just locks it in. And it makes the aperture ring work. Yeah, we got it now. Okay. So I don't want to leave this lens on the chip and then it's going to cook my sensor. I'll certainly put it on. Look how bad, that's so bad. I have to shut this off. That's better. What's this thing's claim to fame besides being radioactive? It's a really, really nice lens. I was off between Christmas and New Year's of 2023, 2024. And we had a whole bunch of rain, and the streams were swollen. Then it cleared up and got cold, and there was some ice. And then we got some cloudy, mild weather, ranging from overcast to heavy overcast. I figured, well, it's an overcast day. I'll go to the park. I'll be able to take some pictures at f2, and you know, at a slower shutter speed, a lower ISO. And then I could stop down to like f8 or something, and I'll use it at 1600 and see what results I get. And I got really, really good results. This is an excellent lens, except it's really, really pricey. I don't even want to tell you how expensive it is. You could get probably 3 normal vintage lenses for the price of this thing. But you know, it's 35mm, it's f2, and anything like a 28 or 35, 16mm, if they're f2, you pay a premium for that. Oh, there's tons of fast 50s around because they were mass produced and they had production lines just set up just for that. So yeah, 50mm f2s are a dime a dozen, or f1.8 or 1.7 or even 1.4. You could be had at very reasonable prices, but this is expensive. So I'm going to take it off the camera because I don't want to cook the sensor. I mean, I'll definitely, you know, use it in the future, but I don't want to, you know, cook it. Now, when I got this lens, everything was yellow. I believe it's this element was the radioactive one, and this is very yellow. I mean, you look through it and everything looked yellow. So what I had to do is I could get an ultraviolet light, and you know, the blue thing that you use to look at the black light posters or minerals. And I had to stick it like, I used the fluorescent tube type, and I had to put it like right here. I had to leave it there for 3 days and it cleared up. Yeah. And every once in a while you got to give it a little refresher shot, because the radioactive thorium turns the glass brown, and then you'll lose the f-stop. And I think I may have to give it another shot. It's hard to tell in this lighting, but I'll look into that later. All right, so I came with a lens cap. Beautiful, excellent condition. Wow, and it takes excellent pictures, which we're going to see. And of course, the Alpha 6000 or the A6000 is a very fine camera. Sony nailed it with these things. I have the A5000, I have the A5100, and they're nice cameras too, but they didn't have a eye-level EVF. So I got this used. Of course, I don't buy anything new anymore, and I'm very pleased with it. You know, and there's no doubt about it. These are fine cameras, and I highly recommend them. If you can get them used and cheap, pick one up, and you can get into vintage lenses. And the adapters are cheap. I have a whole bunch of adapters. So I went to the park. It was warm, but there's still mulberry berries. There's still water-swollen creek. There were reeds, there were rocks, there was moss and lichen. And so I took the usual pictures. But you could see, if you look at the other pictures, at the other reviews I did, the other movies, you can say, well, how does this compare to a 28mm f2 Chiron? How does this compare to the 35 to 70mm Tokina? Well, then you could see the difference. And you know what? These older lenses are the best as compared to these modern pieces of crap. I don't know. I have a couple of Nikon lenses, old vintage lenses, and I love them. But this, and then, but then I have a lot of new Nikon glass, a lot of new Canon glass, and let's face it, Canon, they're the new king as far as I'm concerned. You know, you want a new lens, you go get a Canon. You want an old lens, you have your pick. There used to be a war between Canon, Nikon, and Pentax, and all the other second stringers to see who could make the best lenses. I don't know what went wrong, but the times they haven't changed. That's all I got to say. I live in the northeast of America, right outside a great metropolitan area. I used to be in the boondocks, but suburbia sort of caught up to me. And there's a park 10 minutes of where I live. It's not a big giant mountain. It's not a big giant canyon. I could go to the ocean. It's like a 90-minute drive, but you know, it's just flat. It's you know, a beach in the water, and that's it. So I would have to go a whole bunch of times to get some good pictures. But if I go to this park, and it's not a small park, it's a big park. I think it's like 1,000 acres or something. And it's some rolling hills, and it has some ancient artifacts from the olden days. In America, ancient is like 200 or 300 years ago. And you know, that's why I don't live next to the Himalayas. You know, I don't live next to the Grand Canyon. That's just the way it is. That's where so to have to live 10 minutes away from a place, oh, this park is the best. I like this park so much that if I knew that they were going to have an atomic war and they were going to obliterate the whole Northeast, and there's no way I could evacuate in time, because even when we had a big storm, we got 5 inches of water 2 weeks ago, all the roads were closed and you were stuck. You know, that's just the way it was. So I figure if they're going to have an atomic war and they tell everybody to evacuate, I just go sit in the park and get vaporized. That's what I would do. Really, you know, fuck it, right? So, but aside from that, let's look at some pictures from this thing, and these are really nice. You know, when you're pixel peeping this thing, even wide open, it's really nice. Maybe that radioactive stuff really works. I don't know. And this thing is 50 years old, 60 years old, and it's still hot like that. You know what? I think when you juice it up with the ultraviolet light, it reinvigorates the radioactivity. Oh, it sounds to say bullshit. That doesn't happen, but you know, how come the ultraviolet gets rid of yellow, and that means that's from the decay, and there must be some decay. I don't know what the half-life of thorium is. I'll have to look that up. But it seems like after I ultravioletly bleach these, the Geiger counter says it was more radioactive. But what do I know? I know nothing. All I know is I'm a photographer. I like to take pictures. Take pictures or die. That's my philosophy. In fact, let's look at some pictures. This is at f2, wide open and close up. Or it is a downsample crop. And here's a 1:1 crop. Excellent, outstanding, fantastic lens. And it's pricey, very pricey. Of course, f8, almost any lens is good, but this is seems just a little bit better. And here's a 1:1 of that f8. It's just it has such a nice look to it. You know, I think although I bleached it UV light because it had a radioactive element to turn yellow, it still might be slightly yellow. And I think it was maybe a half a f-stop slow or quarter f-stop. I'm going to have to give it another bleaching session to clear it up. But other than that, the build quality is excellent and outstanding. Old school, old-time Japanese quality. And it's optically outstanding. Of course, there's a premium on this lens. It has collector's value. It has a concave front element instead of a convex front element. It's radioactive. And there's a whole bunch of different types. There's some got the silver nose, some got a black nose. And I think there's some other variants too. But it's worth it. It's really worth it. If you're going to get a vintage lens and you want a 35mm f2, you can't do any better than this lens. And it focuses very close too. And it performs very well at the closest focusing too. And I like the way these mulberries came out with the water drops on them. You know, it's like you go somewhere and you're trying to take pictures and maybe you're just not satisfied with how they're coming out. But this lens captured it somehow. I don't know. So I live by this park. It's 10 minutes away by car, 15 at the most. And it's a great, nice little park. It's about 1,000 acres. I walk down many trails. There's some rolling up and down hills. There's no hard scrabble going up hills. Here's the reeds and the bridge, and they really came out nice looking. Of course, it was the quality of the light too. It being overcast, medium overcast, not a heavy overcast or light overcast. I would say medium. And it's got these cool vistas there, like this raging brook. You know, we got a lot of water, and the brook is still raging. And when I'm done taking pictures, I just stand there and look at it. You're like, wow, this is cool. 10 minutes from my house, 10-minute walk from my car. But you could walk for 2 hours around loops somewhere through the woods. And I've done that many times. You know, the water is raging water, and it's been running for like almost 2 weeks now. But the water sure should have a blue tint to it or something. I couldn't imagine anyone dumping any dye in the lake to turn the water blue, because this all comes out of the lake. And there is a swamp and with reeds, and could there something be, you know, like tannin turns the water brown or red, but what would turn the water blue? I did see some suds, but I think campers sometimes wash their dishes or clothes and they make suds, although there's natural suds. But I just don't know what to think. You know, here's a brick wall built by ancient astronauts. It has some crunch berries in front of it. There's mulberries, and then there's these other things called, I call them crunch berries. And it captured the massive redness of the mulberries. This lens did an excellent job. So this is at f2, I believe, and that's a 1:1 crop. This is at f5.6, I stepped it down to show you the distance. I stayed at the same spot, same lighting. Here's the 1:1 and 5.6. Very similar, although there is an improvement. And f8 lens is always going to be the best it is at f8. But you notice the contrast is pretty much the same. And yeah, there's an improvement, but you know, this lens is good wide open. Now, do you believe people would make this? Ancient astronauts came down millions of years ago and they made all this while we were just apes, primates, you know, goofing around, eating berries. As usual, you're going to have to turn your volume down because there's some videos falling of the water. So right now you might want to turn your volume down.